Everyone, Mitch from Raising Rascals here. Today I just wanted to chat about what conscious parenting actually looks like, how to apply it in real life, and how to use these techniques in everyday situations so that you can actually get not only results, but outcomes that are sort of congruent with how you're thinking or how you want to parent your kids. So the goal here is to create ease and help manage these relationships with your kids. So what this can be applied to is situations like getting dressed, getting the kids in the car, getting them out of the shower, not eating dinner, those sorts of things. So what we actually want to do in everyday situations is to control our reaction. If things are triggering or they're frustrating or you're overstimulated and there's a lot going on, you want to make sure that even though you can't control those things, you can control how you react to those things, and therefore the situation doesn't escalate, and you actually get the outcome you want and you parent the way you want to parent. So the fundamental thing here to remember is, I guess, how to view the situation or your perspective on tantrums or I guess uncomfortable situations with your kids. So what they're trying to do when they chuck a tantrum or they act out, whatever you want to call it, is they're trying to regain control. You're much bigger than them. You understand the world more than they do. They really can't do anything if you pick them up, move them somewhere, or you say no. So by them crying or by them doing something uncomfortable, they're literally just trying to get back some autonomy and some control. So if we understand that, we can use that to also help manage situations. So what I want to talk about now is the framework that Casey and I use. And it really does revolve around treating them like human beings, and using that autonomy as a sort of means to steer the ship towards an outcome that you want. All right, so our methodology and what has worked for us in the past, raising two kids, I guess under two, they're a bit older now, but what has worked for us is, first of all, regulating yourself. So if someone's crying or the situation's stressful, first thing to do is take a deep breath, get into a state where you can parent effectively, where you can control the situation and you're not, all in your emotions, all in your head, and at the whim of, the situation or any sort of stimulus. Second one is to communicate with your children. So let's say you want to do something or you need them to go somewhere. You say, hey, in 5 minutes, we're going to be going to do this. Let's turn the TV off. Let's jump out of the shower. Let's do whatever, but you need to communicate with them. You can't just take it away or say, oh, sorry, it's time to turn that off now, see you later. That's frustrating, right? That's frustrating for adults, so of course it's going to be frustrating for kids. So you need to let them know what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and you need to then hold that boundary. So 5 minutes is up, it's time to turn everything off, you remind them, and then, if they do chuck a tantrum or they do get upset, then you need to remind them that this is the boundary you need to set, and you need to stick to that boundary. Once you communicate and you set a timer, within that 5 minutes or that 1 minute, that 10 seconds, whatever you want to do, just have a think yourself about what they're doing now and what they will want to do. So let's say they're playing with some toys, and you say, hey, it's time to hop in the car, we're going to go to the shops. Their focus then is playing with toys. That's all they want to do. So if you can find a way to facilitate what you're trying to do whilst they can still do something they enjoy, that's really, really helpful. So let's say you need to go in the car, just get them to play with the toys in the car. So you pick them up, say, sure, keep playing with the toys, play with them in the car all you want while I strap you in. Easy peasy, right? The friction comes when you have to make them stop what they enjoy doing. So any circumstance or situation where you can get them to keep doing things they enjoy, that is an easy situation, and that is something that you need to try and incorporate into your day. Try not to have too many expectations around that, and you'll find things get a lot easier. Number 4, if that doesn't work, if they don't want to keep playing with their toys in the car or whatever it is and they want to keep playing with them in the house, then you need to find something more enjoyable for them to do. Let's say it is, they're playing with toys, but the more enjoyable thing would be to go and visit grandma after you go shopping and you guys can, I don't know, go on a slide or something in their backyard. And they know that that's more fun than playing with toys, so they're going to be happy to go to the shops and do that because they're doing something more enjoyable. That's sometimes why TV needs to be used, because that's pretty high up there in terms of fun and engagement. The 5th part to it all is that you need to get rid of any expectations. So just naturally, as a parent, you're going to be late. If you want to parent consciously and you want to be more gentle, things take longer. That is just a function of, going with the flow and letting your kids experience what they need to experience. 9 times out of 10, a boundary sort of implied by a parent or set by a parent is pretty arbitrary, and unless it is really sort of damaging to them, or they can get hurt, knives, whatever it might be, 9 times out of 10 it's probably okay for them to do what they want to do. If you find it annoying or whatever, then a lot of the times as well, that's your expectations or your bias towards a situation or whatever it might be. So if you can let go of that and just let them be a bit more free, you'll find ease comes with that. For sure. If they want to play a musical instrument and it's really loud, say, sure, go play that musical instrument, just go into your room. Easy peasy. Everyone wins then. And the 6th one, I just wanted to, rehash this as well, is it's important always to stick to your boundaries and stick to what you said you're going to do. So if you say something's going to happen and you don't stick to it, the likelihood is that the next time that thing has to happen, the situation will escalate or become uncomfortable because you're teaching your child through, lax boundaries or not being firm on how you set things, that all they have to do to get what they want is to essentially disagree with what you're doing. And it's fine for them to disagree. Of course, they're people. They're not going to agree with everything that you do. But, there needs to be boundaries with certain things, and there is boundaries in life. So, I guess it's just part and parcel of it. But it is hard to set boundaries because the consequences are going to be a tantrum or crying for the next 10, 15 minutes. But the way around that is just to set the boundary, then let them have their emotions. Let them cry for 10 to 15 minutes. Let them do what they need to do. Let them run around outside, burn off all that energy, because if they don't, then they've got all that energy bottled up for the next situation, and then they might cry for half an hour instead of just 5 or 10 minutes. So letting them cry and holding those boundaries reinforces that positive, trusting, closing the circuit of an activity or something like that, so that they know, yep, that's done, let's move on to the next one, versus being unclear and not so sure about how to proceed. All right, so just some sort of troubleshooting as well. So let's say you've done all that and none of it's working. They just do not want to do what you want them to do, or you need them to do, or you're really late now. You're an hour late, and it's time to go. The way to solve hard problems with kids is through connection. It works every time, I guarantee you. If they're not doing what you need, just play with them. Tickle them, run around, find any game you want. Just be as present as you can be and super, super immersive just for 5-10 minutes. I can guarantee you they'll be a completely different kid or different child after that, and much more willing to go through the motions and do what you need them to do after they've had that connection, they've had that love. Because another reason why they get upset is because they want love and they're not getting it. If you come at it from that lens, that they're just seeking love and seeking fun the whole time, then it's always an easy solution, because you've always got 2 answers, right? Just give them fun give them love, problem solved. And just finally as well, our methodology and the way we approach parenting is based on an action and modeling. So kids learn through what we do, not what we say. So our actions versus our words. So if you don't hold boundaries with them, they will learn to push those boundaries because you're not holding them yourself. If you get frustrated at situations, they will also get frustrated at situations because that's how they learn to deal with their emotions. Whereas if you're always calm, they'll always be calm too, because they're learning how to deal with their emotions and situations because you're learning how to deal with emotions and situations. This is why kids are really good teachers, because if you want them to do something, you have to do it yourself. You're forced to, because that's how they then learn to do that thing. So if it's not working, if you're finding situations becoming too uncomfortable, are becoming unpleasant, or they're not going in the right direction you want them to, then you have work to do yourself. And it's not easy. It is the hardest thing you'll ever do. But it is possible. There is always a solution, and there always is a way. So I want to give you now some very, very common situations that often appear and that are often frustrating and that happen frequently as well. And this isn't so much of a strategy. You can't just say something and the situation will be resolved. It's more of a mindset, and it's more of a perspective on how to actually work through the situation and work towards a common sort of goal of doing an activity together or whatever it might be. So let's just say you need to get them in the car. Before you initiate any situation or any change in what they're doing, step one, always regulate yourself. Make sure that before you go talk to them, you are calm. You know that you're ready to go. You know what boundary you need to set. You're not rushing around frantic, because that escalates the situation just naturally. You've taken some deep breaths, you've sat down for a minute or two, you've had some water, whatever it might be. You've done things that allow you to be the best parent you can be for the next 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. All right, so you're nice and calm, you're ready to go, everything's sorted, there's no rushing. So now it's time to let them know that it's time for them to get in the car. So you might knock on their door, go in their room, interrupt what they're doing and say, hey, we're about to leave and go to the shops, we're about to leave and go to, go see someone, whatever. I'll come back in 1 minute. I'll set this timer here. When it goes off, it's time to go. So 1 minute's up, they might not want to stop what they're playing. So like I said before, we can always use that to our advantage and get them to go into the car with their toy. If they don't want to do that, then the other option is to go outside and play with them for a bit. Even play with them around the car, play with them in the car, show them something, get them excited about something that is not in the house, that is closer to the car, that will make getting in the car easier. Another common thing is, not getting dressed prior to going anywhere, which is fine, that's easy. What we do is we just say, cool, jump in the car naked, whatever. We'll get you dressed there. And literally every single time, Atlas gets dressed everywhere we go. All we do is just get him dressed in the car. When we rock up, it takes 1 minute because he wants to do what we're going to go do, and he's always keen to get dressed. Literally, it has never happened where he doesn't want to get dressed. So just with that point, I think that one's important, because it just goes to show you that if you just change how you think about things, it makes things a lot easier. In my mind, what this would look like from a traditional parenting sense is that when it's time to leave, they don't come, they don't want to stop playing with their toys, they don't want to get dressed, whatever it might be. You basically say, no, that's wrong. I'm going to take control of you now. I'm going to pick you up, either kicking and screaming or whatever it might be, or we forcefully dress them, whatever, get them in the car. Everyone's crying. It's a shitty experience for all. You're angry. You're driving around really quick, and it's just no fun. The more you lean into the situation and the more you accept it, the easier it is every single time. The more you go against it, and there is that friction. There is that I don't want to be doing this. That makes it harder. That is not conscious. That is not gentle. That is hard. Now, another concept that's very, very common or can cause drama is things like getting out of the shower. Okay, so This is a really good one because it teaches them bodily autonomy and recognizing sort of like their limits and when things feel uncomfortable, when they don't feel uncomfortable. It's teaching them to be present. So let's say they don't want to get out of the shower. Sweet, no worries. Leave them in there. Obviously watch them sitting there with them, but eventually they'll get cold. Eventually they'll want to get out. They're not going to stay in there forever. Another one that we use is that they can turn it off. You say, all right, I understand how you feel. I know what you want out of this situation. I know you want to stay in. Unfortunately, now we need to get out. It is time to do something. I'm going to give you that autonomy by letting you do something that is either interesting or abnormal, or just lets them have autonomy in general. He feels empowered, like he's made the decision, or Atlas has made the decision to get out of the shower. And therefore they're much more willing. It's easier and they almost like doing it because it feels like their idea and they're giving themselves autonomy even though you basically told them to do it or suggested that they do it. Another really common situation, and the last one I'm going to talk about today, is not eating dinner. So this is a near and dear situation in our household. We've got one picky eater and one not picky eater. So this is not steps, this is not a checklist, this is mindset. This is changing or giving you another view about dinner and how to approach it. What has worked for us is trusting their autonomy and their gut feeling towards food. So if they want to eat a lot of something, it's usually just because they're hungry. So give them that food with dinner. Let's say you cook some chicken, some veggies, and they want some bread. Give them a little triangle of bread with their dinner, because obviously, they can eat one whole slice and they'll be full. But yeah, give them a little bit of bread with the chicken, with the veggies, and after they've eaten the bread, they're actually more likely to keep eating. So go with it, go with the flow, and lean into that situation. Don't just say, no bread, nothing, because then they associate lack or frustration with dinner time and they'll never eat. The second thing to dinner times that really have helped us and that are gentle is to do a routine / gathering. So everyone sits down at the dinner table all together. Everyone eats. Once again, if you're you're modeling eating dinner at a certain time, they're more likely to eat dinner too. So that one's worked really well for us in the past, and being consistent at it has really helped as well. So yeah, sit down as a family, really good. So another really handy approach that we use is basically respecting their food choices. So let's say they don't like broccoli or mushrooms or something like that. That's cool. Don't keep giving them stuff that they're not going to eat, even though it's healthy for them. The more you comment, the more you say, why aren't you eating that? Are you hungry? Look, your food's over there, whatever it might be. That is just instilling a lack of trust in their body and what they want to do, basically. You're basically saying, look, I know you don't like that, but unfortunately we're having it anyway, here you go. They're never going to eat dinner if they're constantly doing things they don't like. If you want to get them to do it and you want to get them to actually eat it, you have to give them something they like. You have to make it somehow enjoyable for them. It's a bit of a pain and it only lasts for a few years when they're young, but once again, lean into it, make it fun. So another thing that has helped us as well is to not have any sort of foods that are incredibly exciting. I say that, it sounds a bit weird saying that, but are so exciting and are so tasty, they don't want to eat anything else. So obviously, number one, chocolate. Don't give them chocolate if you want them to eat food ever again, because all they will ever want to eat is chocolate. Why eat chicken and veggies if you can just eat 10 pieces of chocolate, because chocolate tastes 10 times better. Just don't even bother. Don't go there. Don't ever give them chocolate. Wait till they're 6 or 7 years old and they can just, eat till they vomit then. When they're young, they don't have that impulse control. And because of that, all they want is chocolate. And their nutrition and their diet and their thought processes and their behaviours around food will just go out the window completely. Literally all they will think about is chocolate and sugar. So don't even bother. If you want it, cool, hide it, never eat it in front of them. Be really respectful of that, and it makes life a lot easier. I'm nearly done, nearly done. It's been a big video, I know. So understand that they are so little that they can literally be full in a few mouthfuls or half a bowl or something like that. So respect that. You know, if they don't want to eat anymore, ask once. Even then, you probably don't even need to ask at all, because once they're full, they'll stop eating, they'll go do something else. They know the food's there, they just ate it. You don't have to keep prodding and poking and reminding them, because they know they've just eaten it, they've done it, and they're respecting how they feel and they don't want to eat anymore. Sometimes they will not eat food. That doesn't mean they're going to starve and die, but sometimes they are simply not hungry, they don't feel like eating, whatever it might be. The more respect you give them, and the more that you recognise that they are literally just another human being but smaller, the easier your life will be. It's just like anyone. You know, it's not nice if your dad or your mum says you know, keep eating if you're full, eat your peas, you know, shoving them in your face. That's not a pleasant experience, and it is along the same lines as what commenting is, and what, you know, suggesting that they eat more food is. It's forcing them to do something they don't want to do. So final thing, if they aren't eating enough, which is something that we've had some issues with as well, you need to supplement that somehow. So the reason why I know chocolate ruins diets is because Atlas loves chocolate. So we try really hard not to give it to him, but we also use it to our advantage. Like, again, we lean into every situation. So we have this sort of protein powder that's chocolate flavored. It's got like blended up broccoli and spinach and beetroot and stuff in it. Yeah, every morning he'll have his breakfast and he'll have his little chocolate protein shake out of his little protein shaker. And so we understand that sometimes, yes, he won't eat or eat as much as we want him to or we'd like him to. So we make use of that and supplement that by going with something we know he'll drink, which is chocolate, or eat chocolate, and making that as healthy and nutritious as possible. Another really easy way to do that is with smoothies. You know, you can sneak eggs, spinach, obviously protein, hemp protein, protein powder if you want to do that. It's a bit processed. Almond butter, peanut butter, even though it's a bit unhealthy too. Obviously berries, they're really good. Any fruits, even carrots and stuff like that. In smoothies, you can just hide it all. That's a really good way to supplement diets, because everyone likes fruit. Fruit's tasty. So that's something that's helped us as well. If they don't want to eat dinner, make them a smoothie. Easy peasy. That's it. These things we do daily. This methodology we do daily, and it's tried and tested. It's proven. It works. It literally makes our life easier every day. This stuff is so helpful in fostering really good relationships with your kids, and just making life a lot more fun, because it's no fun to be grumpy all the time and stressed all the time and just lost in how you can deal with situations. It sucks, and it makes parenting not enjoyable. So the best gift we can give to our kids is literally to be the best parents we can be. That way they can just go on and just love life, love themselves and love others as well. So yeah, it's just so important to really think about your response before you do anything, and make sure that response is a response that you actually want to give. So I hope that has made you feel really hopeful and positive, and that it was useful, and that it really does help your relationship moving forward. I hope it's sort of given you another perspective on how to sort of, you know, deal with situations. I know I talk quite a lot, and I might not be super direct at times. I'm working on that. But yeah, mindfulness and presence, it really is key here. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you have questions about in the comments. Let me know your methodology. Let me know how you deal with things. I'd love to improve as well. You know, I'm certainly not perfect, and I can certainly do things better, and am always looking to do things better. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.